What Bahnsen does here is he spends a lot of time in this introduction just laying out things before even, oftentimes in the beginning, you kind of lay out your position, then give an explanation of it. Bahnsen really doesn't do that. He doesn't really lay out his position till he gets to the very last few minutes of the debate,
Right.
and then he gives his position, what it is. And then, it's over. But he spends doing a lot of work at the beginning to try to make sure that it's clear where he's coming from and what he's talking about. And so Bahnsen begins by saying that he wants to begin the evening with three opening and introductory remarks about the nature of the debate itself. The nature of the debate. Notice the debate is about whether or not God exists, but he wants to talk about how we ought to debate. That's what he wants to talk about here,
Yeah.
right? And so he says, first of all, it's necessary at the outset of the debate to define our terms. And, obviously that's always the case. And in particular here,
Don't we always say that? We always say that here.
he says he should make clear what he means when he uses the term God. So he's going to start off with defining, he says he wants to specify that he's arguing particularly in favor of Christian theism. That's what you alluded to earlier, right? And for it as a unit or system of thought, not for anything like theism in general. And there are three reasons that he gives for why he wants to talk specifically about Christian theism. So oftentimes we're used to this general, does God exist? What do we mean by God? Well, some theist, supernatural, whatever. Bahnsen is saying, no. I'm talking about the Christian God, Christian theism. That's what I want to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
And so that's how he begins his opening statement here.
Right. So with something like classical theism, there's kind of that two-step approach. With evidentialism, it's almost a one-step. You get right to the heart of who Jesus is, and then you say that he's God because of all the things that he was able to do and claim and be. And then we can trust that he's God. This is a different approach for Dr. Stein, so hopefully he's listening carefully. Well, first, the various conceptions of deity found in world's religions are, in most cases, logically incompatible, leaving no unambiguous sense to general theism, whatever that might be. So again, you have your atheist person online saying, well, which God? Point to which God? We just hold up the Bible and we point to that one and we say that one. That's it. That's always what we're arguing for. So yes, we're not here for Thor or Vishnu or Ganesh. We're for the biblical Christian God, and he wrote a book, and we made it available to anyone who would like it in pretty much whatever language they would like. And if you have a language it's not translated into, please let us know, because we'll translate into that and we'll civilize your country with it. So you're welcome.
So this notion then of just kind of a general deity he's suggesting is logically incompatible, right? All the religions are talking about God. He says, no, that's logically incompatible. And it's ambiguous in terms of what exactly do you mean, right? And so he wants to dismiss with that, right? That's what he's getting.
Yeah. How do you argue for that? Well, it's a being. Well, all right. So being, and then also so a singular purpose. Well, what about theism? What about a general the universe, the entire universe itself? Pantheism is God. So you almost can't even define the term without first running into the need for qualification. So this is very specific here. Well, secondly, he has not found the non-Christian religions to be philosophically defensible, each of them being, and here's this too, internally incoherent and undermining human reason and experience. And this is the shot across the bow. You don't realize it yet, but this is what presuppositionalism is, and it's what Bahnsen's going to really harp on as well. So it must be internally coherent then, and it must not undermine the things that we experience as well. And thirdly, since I am, by the grace of God, he says, a Christian, I cannot from the heart adequately defend those religious faiths which he disagrees with. Again, being honest with his approach, talking about the biblical Christian God. I am a Christian. If the God of the Bible is true and I claim to be his follower, then asking me to do anything opposite of that would be an insult to you and an insult to me, and then ultimately an insult to God. So those are his three qualifications for general theism.